Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name. If there's one Stones track that I never skip, it's Sympathy for the Devil. The song's lyrical origins came from several Russian and French authors and poets. Mick Jagger, who wrote most of the tracks, stated, "That was taken from an old idea of Baudelaire's, I think, but I could be wrong. Sometimes when I look at my Baudelaire books, I can't see it there, but it was an idea I got from French writing, and I just took a couple of lines and expanded on it. I wrote it sort of as a, Bob Dylan song." If you look closer at the lyrics, it's easy to see the Dylan inspirations of life, death, and the combination of surreal and realist imagery. The track is credited to Mick and Keith. Keith is credited with changing the tempo and giving the song its samba Latin feel. Mick spoke on it, saying, "It has a very hypnotic groove, a samba, which has a tremendous hypnotic power, rather like a good dance music. It doesn't speed up or slow down. It keeps this constant groove." The track obviously pulls from events in the history of mankind, including World War II, the Russian royal family murders, and the assassination of John F. Kennedy, which was updated to the Kennedys after Bobby was killed. There was also the inspiration from conservative groups who thought that the group was satanic and evil. The Stones were controversial figures, and instead of running and hiding, they fully embraced it. Keith spoke on it, saying, "Before we were just innocent kids out for a good time. They're saying, they're evil, they're evil. Oh, I'm evil? Really? So that makes you start thinking about evil. What is evil? Half of it, I don't know how many people think of Mick as the devil or just as a good rock performer or what." Charlie Watts spoke on the recording of the track, saying, "Sympathy was one of those sort of songs where we tried everything. The first time I ever heard the song was when Mick was playing it at the front door of his house. He played it entirely on his own, and it was fantastic." The backing vocals of Who came from the song's producer Jimmy Miller, who kept motivating Mick to go further with his vocals, asking, "Come on, Mick, who are you singing about?" Eventually this was fed back to the group in the studio, who changed it from Who to Woo Woo. During the sessions, Jean-Luc Godard was filming the group for a documentary, and had set up a lamp that malfunctioned and set the entire studio on fire. Thankfully, Miller got the tapes of what was recorded out of the studio, but the band's gear was completely destroyed. Sympathy for the Devil would become the title of the film he was making, and combine the making of the song with footage of cultural and social upheaval at the time. 6 days after the album, Beggar's Banquet, was released, the band performed the track live for their Rock and Roll Circus project. This particular section of the film was directed by Michael Lindsay Hogg, who would later direct the Beatles' Let It Be. He spoke about it, saying, "There was no audience. There was just Mick playing to the camera and the band playing. But here he had to pull out of himself, especially on that last song, Sympathy for the Devil, at 5:30 in the morning. The last shred of the great performer that he is. The camera was right there in front of him to use as he wanted. It wasn't observing him from a distance. It was 2 feet away from him, and he and the cameras were molded to each other, almost because he used it so wonderfully." You can find a link to this amazing performance below. Years later, the track would be covered by Guns N' Roses for the Interview with the Vampire soundtrack. The song would be the last time the group would record together until 2021's Absurd. According to Slash, that's the sound of the band breaking up. Despite the track's initial controversy, it would become a standard for the Stones, one of their signature tracks, and a reminder that rock and roll always has an element of evil to it. The content on this channel is made possible from viewers like you. Help the channel grow by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.